Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here, and in this video I want to just go over sort of my reading goals for the new year of 2021. I've already kind of done my kind of like review of my failure to complete my 2020 goals. Actually, it wasn't like a complete failure, but I think it was like, what was it, like 3 out of 6 or something like that, if I remember. But yeah, I'll leave that link like up there in the corner or whatever the card. And this, like I said, this video is gonna be more for 2021, and I'm gonna do a separate video. I kind of split my like kind of reading in particular goals, I guess, if that's what you call it, with my kind of like life and channel and kind of like other thing goals. Kind of like splitting those up. So anyways, like I said, this one's gonna be like strictly kind of bookish reading stuff. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I got more goals than I normally do, but I think some of them are kind of more open-ended and vague than they normally are. But let's just go ahead and get started. The first one is just kind of like my, Goodreads reading challenge type goal, and is to read 52 books in the year. And the reason I set that fairly low for me, because like I read over 100 late last year, is just so I know I can hit it, and it's kind of like stress-free. So it's like, one a week, but I know I'm gonna like hit it, so like I said, it's just kind of a gimme just so I feel good about myself like later on at some point in the year. Goal number 2 is to read 15 Warhammer books. I think I read 13, I want to say, or 12 or 13 or something like that last year, and I want to just kind of bump that up a little bit. And that's going to be split between like Horus Heresy 30k stuff and Warhammer 40k stuff. Last year I branched last year I branched off into 40k, and the year before I started with like the whole Horus Heresy thing, and then last year I kind of did both. And I'm really enjoying kind of like both. I mean, I guess it's the same universe, just it's kind of like the 30k portion, the 40k portion. But like I said, I'm really enjoying it, and I just want to keep going. But there's so many series, just like the Horus Heresy by itself is like 60 books or something, 62, and then there's so many just trilogies and series in Warhammer and standalones that you just have to kind of just chip away at it, and you'll like, I don't know if anyone really like ever actually, I'm sure there are people that like literally buy them as soon as they come out and read them, but yeah, I don't know how you get into it like 20 years later and try to like catch up, because there's literally hundreds of books like kind of like in that universe now. But like I said, I'm just gonna set 15 just so I can start making like a tiny little dent in that universe. And goal number 3, kind of similar to the Warhammer one, is to read 12 fantasy books. I did really terrible in 2020 with fantasy, and I picked 12 just because like one a month. If I can at least do one a month, hopefully I can finish off a couple series and not start too many more. Hopefully is kind of the plan, but I think since starting book 2, I think I finished like 4 or 5 series altogether, so I'm pretty terrible at finishing trilogies and series and whatnot, so we will see how that actually goes. But like I said, one a month. I'm just gonna set the bar really low, do one a month, but that's still more than last year, so still kind of like an improvement. All right, and now on to kind of some of the more vague ones. Let's see, goal number 4 I wrote down was to read more philosophy books. I think I did like pretty decent 2 years ago, and before I started book 2, but I read a lot more philosophy, like in college and a little bit after college and stuff. And I think last year I only read like 2 or 3 philosophy-ish books. I think I like kind of categorized a couple as philosophy books vaguely, but they really weren't, really like philosophy books. But yeah, this is something I want to just like get back into. I really enjoy reading it when I find the right books. So that's kind of just why I put that there. So if you got any good philosophy recommendations, leave a comment. I always say leave a link down below. Leave some comments down below. Just because I know there are some good ones out there. I'm not talking about like some of the self-help philosophy books. I've read like 1 or 2 of those, and yeah, I can't stand those. But I do know there are some good philosophy books out there if you know where to look for them, and apparently I don't know where to look for them. So that's what I'm going to ask for help with in this video. And let's see, goal number 5 is to read more ancient history, because that was my like abject failure of my 2020 goals, because that was to read more ancient history. I think I read like 2 or 3 like the whole year, so that was just a complete miss right there. So this year I'm going to try and bump that up and see what we can do about that. And alright, so before we go on to the second half of my videos, I just want to do a quick plug for my Etsy shop there. If you want to support the channel, that's probably the best way to do, is either to just like kind of like favorite the shop or like some items that you see on there. I'm working on a secret project. I say secret project, like hopefully it gets done in the next like week or 2, but Like I said, just liking items, obviously buying stuff too, but that's definitely the best way, I think, to support the channel. And now let's just keep moving on to some of the other goals. And number 6 is to read more very short introductions. I've said it before about these kind of Oxford very short introductions. There's no reason why I can't read like one or something like that every month. They're only like 100. I think the longest ones are like 140 pages or something like that, and most of them are like 100, 110 pages. So there's really no reason I couldn't read one every month. And I think every year I pretty much told myself to do that. And last year I started off really good. I think up through April I had done it, and then after apparently April I was just like, nah, F this, and then just like forgot completely about them. Don't really know why, but we're gonna try and keep that going in 2021 and see if I can do it for once. Let's see, number 7 is to read 10 long books. And I don't even know what I'm going to consider long, probably like anything over 500 pages. I noticed like last year I didn't read many kind of longer books. I don't know why I just like strayed away from that. Because in 2019 I read actually quite a few like 5, 6, 7, and 800 page books, and I participated in like the March of the Mammoths and stuff. I have to see if that's still a thing in 2021, and I'll definitely participate there. And I think the challenge with that, like I remember doing it 2 years ago, was to like you had to read books that were like, I think it was like 700 or 800 pages long or longer. So that was a lot of fun, but like I said, I kind of avoided long books for the most part. I think Oathbringer just did me in at like 1,200 pages and hating it. I think that's like, it just like subconsciously was like, my brain was just like, no, don't read long books because you're just like wasting your time essentially. But we will see how that one goes as well. Goal number 8 is to read more World War I books. I literally have an entire like shelf of World War I books. I only read I think 3 last year. I want to say 3 or 4. So that's not very good. The years before I did actually pretty good. But yeah, that's like the modernish event in history. History is definitely like one of my probably big genre that I read. And it's like the only modernish thing last like 300 years that I actually read about. So definitely want to pick up on that a little bit more as well. Goal number 9 is to read more physical science books. I love how like all my goals are just to read more of every single genre like I ever read. So I'm pretty much setting myself for failure for my 2022 video of going over my 2021 goals. But it's to read more physical science books. I read a ton of books on nature and the life sciences. That's definitely like my biggest genre. I read just the most of. But I want to do some more like kind of like astronomy and physics and chemistry-ish type books, I guess. If that makes sense. Still science, but definitely on the not biological side of things, not environmental nature, that sort of stuff. So definitely want to pick up the pace on that sort of thing. And then my last goal is to keep up reading lots of anthropology books. Not that I read like a ton in 2020, but before 2020 I almost read like, I had really bad luck with anthropology books in general, but I did get on like a pretty good streak in the middle of the year in 2020 where I read, I don't know, 5 or 6 pretty good ones in the span of like 2 or 3 months. I just want to keep that going through 2021. And like I said, none of these, like I said, most of them are just kind of like read more of. So I will interpret that as basically 5 as long as I read more in 2020, which in a lot of ways, a lot of these like kind of niche genres were pretty low. My good genres were like high, but all these like kind of things I want to expand into were like really low. So I just want to do better kind of expanding my repertoire to kind of different genres and that sort of thing. All right, and also leave some comments down below about what your what your big goal, I guess, for 2021 reading wise is. If you have like a genre that you want to like either start for the first time or like read more of, anything like that, leave a comment down below. I just want to be like kind of looking into like what everyone else is kind of like trying to read in the new year, stuff like that. But thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave some comments and whatnot. Check out my Twitter, Instagram, obviously the Etsy shop and everything like that. And no matter what your goals are for 2021, always remember, read victoriously.